Hey guys, welcome to my channel and welcome to this For Whoever reading. Let's see what wants to come through. Hope y'all are doing well. I have clarity and truths, heightened intuition, and seeing things. Okay, so you might be in a place where you're gaining new clarity on your life, situations in your life, or things that might be kind of once confusing you, but now you're finding that you're becoming a lot more clear on, what you want to do, how you want things to be, or you're finding solutions to problems that maybe you didn't think you were going to be able to find solutions to. Let's go a little bit further into this, see what wants to come through. You might be taking time to really tap into your intuition instead of taking time to kind of maybe overthink things. Maybe you've done that before, and now you're learning to kind of take a step back and tap into that intuition and finding that it's helping you to gain a lot more clarity on the situations in your life. Okay. Here I have intellect. Again, this is saying that you've tapped into a place where things are becoming more clear. You're able to kind of clearly identify your thoughts, clearly identify some solutions to things. And now you're feeling a little bit like things are picking up and going in a forward moving direction. Let's keep going and see what else wants to come through here for you. And if you resonated with the title of this reading, then there may be some significant messages in here for you. So make sure that you go through the entire reading and take what resonates and leave the rest. I have peace. Again, you may be finding a newfound sense of peace because things in your life are becoming a little more clear to you. Again, you may have been in situations where things just didn't seem like they were so clear. Maybe they were a bit confusing. Maybe you had a lot of options and you weren't really sure, what decision to make or what to choose. And so now you might be getting a sense of peace about you because you're moving in a more clear direction. It's a very good energy to be in. Let's keep going, see what else wants to come through. Okay, I have two. I have self-doubt and hope, and I have shadow and light. Okay, again, so this doesn't surprise me that these are coming out. So sometimes when we get into, some things that are changing in our life, or maybe we're hoping for changes to come into play, or maybe we've had some unexpected changes upon us, is we can kind of dip into a little bit of some shadow aspects. And so we may kind of be in a state where, we might be doubting some of the decisions that we're making. We might be doubting where things are going to go forward and if they're going to go forward. And so you may be finding yourself in a place where you're kind of dancing between that positive feeling that things are coming forward and moving clearly for you now. And you might be then stepping back the next day into a state where you're starting to really question things, question your decisions, question where your life is going. And so it's okay to do this in times of change and transition. Sometimes, things just kind of tend to go back and forth between, confusing and clarity and, back again. And so don't feel so bad about that. But here, what it's saying is that whatever you're picking up on intuitively about which direction you should go or what decision you should be making, things are becoming more clear to you now. So trust those intuitive messages that are coming through to you and guiding you on which way to go. Let's pull some tarot on the situation and get more in depth on this for you. I have the overall energy coming out as the emperor. So this is again taking charge of your life. The emperor, rules over his life in a way that he's making decisions all of the time. He's needing to make not only decisions for himself, but sometimes he's making decisions for other people that maybe he oversees. This can be to do with a job, or this can even be to do with your own family. But basically, the emperor needs to take charge, make decisions, and know which direction to go. And usually he's doing those things quite confidently. So what might be happening here in the overall energy is you're being asked to really take charge of your life and make those decisions, make those moves you need to make. It doesn't mean that you're going to know everything right away and have all of the answers. The point is that you're moving forward and having confidence in the fact that you can traverse these different challenges, different decisions, and make the best ones. And even if they don't turn out the way that you hope that they will turn out, that you have the confidence in the fact that you'll be able to kind of pivot and, make changes that are necessary along the way. Okay. So the emperor doesn't always know it all. He just has an air of confidence about himself in that he knows that whatever comes his way, he's going to be able to traverse it. Okay. Let's take a look at the recent past. Oh, I had a bunch fall out. Let me get more clear on that. Okay. Sorry about that. The cards are a little bit jumpy today. Let's take a look at the recent past and try this again. All right. The recent past, I have the moon. Again, a very emotional time. This is a time where things, again, really are not very clear. So again, with this emperor energy coming out in the overall energy and the moon coming out in the recent past, it can be an energy of things just not being as they seem, you not being very clear on what's happening. And this can take you to a state of a little bit of emotional upheaval. It can make you kind of feel a type of way where you're just trying to feel your way through some things, but you're not really sure which way to go. You're not sure whether to trust what you're, feeling or what you're thinking. And so you might be, like I said, dipping into that shadow aspect of a little bit of fear of the unknown or fear of what, you don't really know, what's happening under the surface or what's to come. Okay. So let's take a look at the present energy. Sorry about that. Let's take a look at the present energy and see exactly what's happening here in the present. Okay. Okay, in the present, I have the Seven of Swords and the Queen of Swords. So, in your present energy, no wonder things are getting a little bit emotional and things are not exactly as they seem. Because what it looks like is that you might be trying to plan some things on how to make some specific moves. So, you might be trying to, work under the radar. Maybe you're looking for a new job and you don't want to disclose the fact, that you're looking for something new to anyone. And so, you might be working under the radar in regards to this and making moves, or at least making a plan to make some kind of change. And you're trying to gain some kind of clarity on that. But it looks like you are coming into a place of that clarity right now here in the present moment. Whereas before in the past, you might have been a little bit confused or maybe in a state of a little bit of fear in regards to what direction to go. But here it looks like in the present energy, you're gaining a new sense of clarity and you're starting to make plans on what kind of moves to make. Let's take a look at the near future. In the near future, I have the King of Wands and the Eight of Swords. So here in the near future, once you gain that sense of clarity and you kind of have a plan of action, you're going to be able to kind of get out of this closed space, this, mind game that you might be in. Again, with that shadow and light and that self-doubt and hope coming into play, again, you might be kind of stepping in and out of these aspects of, hey, I know exactly where I'm going. I know exactly what I want to do. And then you might be backstepping a little bit and then going into a place of a little bit of fear or doubt in regards to what you're planning to do. Okay. But either way, here, it looks like if you take that confident action with the King of Wands here and you kind of overcome those mindsets that might be kind of, keeping you stuck and still, you're going to be able to move forward. Okay. So here in the near future, it looks like if you take those actionable steps that you're planning on and do it with faith, knowing that you're gaining that sense of clarity and making that plan, then you will be able to kind of get out of those old ways of thinking. Let's get some advice and see exactly what might be, advisable here for what to do. Advice, please. The advice that you're being given is the Five of Swords. Again, this is that shadow aspect. So it looks like you're kind of in a place where, again, those hopes, those fears, those doubts, those, indecisions are coming into play and you're getting yourself a little bit stuck in some mind games. Okay. With the Five of Swords, this can be something that's external to us, but when it's in the position of being your advice, it's basically saying that this is kind of you being your own worst enemy. And when you're your own worst enemy, it's basically saying that there's some kind of negative self-talk with that fear and doubt coming into play. And you may be questioning your confidence and your ability to really take charge of your life and make this decision and move forward. Do it in a place of faith in a way. There does come some level of faith where we have to come in and trust that what we're feeling intuitively and we know needs to take place and what we need to do, needs to happen. And so we can get into that place where we kind of start to question ourselves and become our own worst enemy because we start to doubt everything that we're feeling and doubt our intuition. And then we kind of shut it out. Okay. So the advice here is don't shut it out. Don't get over, in your mind and in your thoughts and start talking yourself out of things or talking negatively to yourself. Start looking at an actionable plan and get that sense of clarity. Okay. And then take action on that plan. Okay. Let's take a look at what's hidden, what you don't see coming. What's hidden? What's hidden here is the Seven of Wands. So you might be getting a little bit in a defensive state here. Okay. So what's hidden in this situation is that you might be a little on guard. So it's natural that when you're going through times of change and transition, that you kind of get caught up in that mindset and you get a little bit guarded with your energy and you might get a little bit kind of, on the defense a little bit. Okay. So, what's hidden here is that it's okay to be in a state where you have healthy boundaries and you're protecting your energy and you're kind of keeping other people's thoughts and opinions out of the way so that you can gain a sense of clarity on your own in your own situation, because a lot of people can have a lot of opinions and oftentimes have a lot to say in regards to advice and what you should or shouldn't be doing. But what that will do is just kind of add to the chaos. So, you want to get into a state where you can kind of bubble up a little bit, protect your energy, and that way you can hear your own thoughts and you can tap into your own intuition because you're going to know what's best, not necessarily other people. Okay. So make sure that you're not getting too defensive on this and you're not too guarded and stuck and closed off to, possibilities, but you're also doing it in a healthy way where you're able to shut people out when needed and, maybe hear their advice, but you don't necessarily need to take it too seriously. You need to filter it through your own heart and mind and make a decision that is best for you. Let's take a look at what you don't see coming in the coming weeks. I have the 10 of Swords. So here in the coming weeks, it looks like there is going to be some kind of ending, some kind of finality. And it looks like you're closing out a chapter that perhaps you've been contemplating for some time. Maybe you've been looking at, the time and energy that you've invested in this situation. And you're starting to maybe realize that you're not exactly getting out what you're putting in. There really isn't, an equal give and take here of some kind, or at least the time and energy that you're putting in, maybe it just really isn't, paying off the way that you thought that it would. And so here, what you don't see coming in the coming weeks is that there will be a finality to this. You will get to a point where you're just kind of done and you will take that action and you will move forward. Okay. So, whether this point of clarity comes, with you willingly and you kind of take that time and energy to take a step back and make clear decisions and make a plan, from a calm and, quiet place. Or you might just kind of like get fed up one day, get a little bit in your head and just kind of like, take that leap and just kind of be done with it. So, either way here, it looks like there is going to be some kind of ending and finality to some kind of situation in your life. It's just a matter of, are you going to do it in a way where you feel clear, where you think you have a plan of action and can take those actionable steps because you're just kind of no longer fulfilled in this situation, or it's going to come in a way that might, bring a little bit of upheaval to you, maybe come as a surprise, or maybe come in a way that maybe it just doesn't come out the way that you ideally want it to be. So, what I would suggest here is that you take a little bit of time to quiet down, quiet the mind, so that you can get more clear on your situation and make the wisest decision possible. So I hope you found this reading to be helpful. And until I see you again, take care.